All right. There we go. All right. Had to double check that microphone and make sure we're on the right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is already Thursday. Whew. Whew. And the government's been shut down for over 24 hours now. You know what I've noticed since the government shut down? Nothing. Nothing at all. Show's still going. Family's still happy. I still own the land I'm on. And from my cold dead hands. I'm pretty generally happy with the shutdown as it stands. This morning I'm going to try not to go over a half hour this morning because I've got some stuff I want to do today. But we're going to take a look at this article. I think I've already we'll see how far we'll see how long it takes to get through the analysis I want to do on the article with you guys. And I think I already pretty well handled the conversation about the Democrats funding healthcare for illegal aliens. Everything you're hearing about the oh no, we don't. We want to fund it for all Americans, and let me just. So I'll say this about that, and if you guys are interested, I can go more into this topic later as this debate rages on in the House. The big claim the Democrats are making to try and get their voting base on board is that Republicans are blocking some portion of subsidy from the ACA, right? The Affordable Care Act, and that's going to cause your insurance premiums to go up by a significant amount. Let me clarify something for you. When the Affordable Care Act, which we know incontrovertibly from Gruber's explanation, was designed to cause you harm for the expressed purpose of forcing you to accept a total takeover of healthcare by government into a single payer system. The Affordable Care Act increased the average insurance premium for the average American citizen by 400%. Most Americans do not realize or understand this because what happened is their average insurance cost, which was in the neighborhood of $150 to $200 a month for an average family, right? And that was with a $1,500 to $2,000 deductible, which, by the way, does not exist. Right? You can't. You as an average citizen shopping for health insurance cannot get a $1,500 deductible today. That is a thing that the Obama administration did away with. They quadrupled your monthly premiums, your annual insurance cost. And then they masked that by offering a subsidy to nearly everyone. And when I say nearly everyone, when I was still running an insurance brokerage and writing hundreds of health insurance policies, understand that my average client was not, a zero income Medicaid applicant. My average client was a small business owner and his employees. We're talking families of, mommy and daddy and a couple of kids. And they were looking at insurance premiums quadrupling. But as long as they made under, you didn't have to make under poverty level. Right? I wrote insurance policies for people who were making $100,000, $120,000 a year, who were receiving $10,000 to $20,000 annually in government subsidy to offset the cost of their health insurance. So if your health insurance premiums appear to rise as a result of Republicans blocking health care, what's happening is you're just paying for the health insurance that you've had for however long you've had that health insurance. And we, the taxpayer, have decided we're tired of paying for everyone else to have what we already have to pay for ourselves. That's without even getting into the illegals, which are being subsidized through mechanisms like we discussed, California's Medi-Cal program, where the state program pays for illegal aliens to have medical coverage, and then they bill it to Medicaid so that federal tax dollars replace what they spent out of their state coffers. Right? And that's without even getting into everything about the quote unquote asylees and the temporary deferred present, right? Like, for example, remember when Donald Trump said they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, and there was the whole thing about Haitians eating dogs and cats off the street, and we found the videos and, oh, no shit, that was absolutely happening. And then, of course, the Biden administration and Kamala Harris came out, well, yeah, but these aren't illegal aliens. Okay, different concern. You've got third world savages in here stealing people's pets and eating them. If these aren't illegal aliens, then we have a whole nother problem. But then what turns out, the only reason they're not illegal aliens is because they had been granted temporary status by the Biden administration for the purpose of being able to forward that narrative with some sort of semi-legal documentation to accompany it. Essentially, he granted by fiat blanket amnesty to a category of ravaging savages so that he could make the argument that they were not illegals. In theory, that argument about who pays for hostile foreign invaders to clog up our medical facilities, our emergency rooms and doctors' offices, is the argument that the Republicans are saying that they want to hold out on. And the Democrats are arguing, no, it's because we want federal money to go to giving people free health care. And whenever you ask them, well, what people? Well, all people. Now, hold on a minute. All people is something like 8 billion. We the American people can't afford that. How do I know we can't afford that? Because right now we're subsidizing healthcare globally through several different funding mechanisms. Sergeant Major says dogs are delicious. Get over it. Yeah, but you don't get to eat my dog. That's not for you. And that is a reference to a story that maybe I'll have the old man share on air some other time. Oh, damn! And you just derailed my train of thought, old man. Let me bring it back around. Okay, so what the arguments are have become less important now that the government actually is shut down. And I want to talk about what's happening during the shutdown. Like Sergeant Major said, we got paid. Yeah. Those of us who receive military pensions, disability pensions, VA disability pay, anything of the sort related to our original federal government, military, et cetera, services, we got paid our retirement pay on the 1st. Actually, I got mine like 3 days early because of the weekend timing. And yeah, anyway, I think I actually got paid on Saturday, which usually is not how that works out. But anyway, people who are furloughed as in they're not going into work right now because the government shut down, but still have their jobs to return to once the government reopens, they will also get paid. Some of them will have their pay delayed, but they will get paid. And as somebody who had a paycheck delayed while I was on active duty, it's obnoxious, it's aggravating, but we get over it, right? It is part of the plan. Dad says doctors are not getting rich. Socialized medicine will illuminate good doctors. I'm not sure if you meant to say illuminate there or eliminate there, old man, but that's another conversation. I don't want to get too far off the track from here. So with the government being shut down, everybody who's supposed to get paid will get paid. But there are a bunch of layoffs. Now, I want to talk about some of the framing on this. So we'll start with this article. This is from NPR. So we know the article is going to be biased. And we can see that just in this first the headline here. Federal workers who took Trump's buyout get final paychecks and an uncertain future. So it's being framed in a lot of the media as if Donald Trump is just going in and yes, okay, yeah, eliminate. Correct. It will eliminate good doctors. It's being framed in a lot of the media that basically because of the shutdown, Trump is using this as this magical political moment to go in and just fire 150,000 people. No, that's not what's happening. There is some room for that, and I hope he takes advantage of that. And I'd love to see him fire 250,000 or even 1 million federal employees. That would just warm the cockles of my heart, right? But it's important to remember that part of what's happening with people leaving the workforce, or more importantly, their paychecks leaving the docket, is related to the original agreement from back in February, where Donald Trump said, hey, if you're a federal employee, I'm offering you a buyout to leave. Was it like 2 years severance pay? Just go away. Just pack your shit up and leave. And we talked about that back then. We said a lot of people who were early in their government careers would probably do well to take that deal. The disadvantage to the deal as it was structured was that, you know, if you're vested in a retirement program that you're hanging around to finish out, you've got, 3 or 4 years left to finish up a retirement plan and collect in full, then maybe it wouldn't be such a great idea to take that deal. And the reason that's a weakness in the program would be that it leaves a lot of the entrenched political actors, the deep state, as it were, in place. And that is largely how that has shaken out. But as this article goes on, we've got Montgomery County, Maryland. Stephanie Cherkawi has a pot of Moroccan tea. Jesus Christ. I don't care about your flavor text, son. Over the past 5 months, Cherkawi has had time to sit in this space and reflect on her decision to walk away from her government career. She's one of the more than 150,000 federal workers who took the Trump administration's fork in the road buyout offer, resigning with pay and benefits through at least September 30. She agreed to share her thoughts and opinions with NPR. This is not the article. This is the wrong article. This is not the same article that I was working with earlier. What the hell? I mean, this article is salient to the conversation, but oh my God, the article I was using got deleted. Somebody has stealth edited the article. Oh God. Okay, hang out with me a minute, guys. Let me see if I can fix this. Let me see if I can grab this from the archive. Oh no, it's back. Okay, there it is. Okay, that got confusing for a minute. NPR is correct here. That is correct here about most of these people being the result of it. It's just the deal is done. right? They took the deal and now they're walking away. This is the article that I wanted to cover and talk about the political bias in the article. Jesus, that derailed me a bit. Trump, okay, the political framing here. Trump uses government shutdown to dole out firings and political punishment. This is, in fact, where that framing happens that I was talking about, right? Like I said, a vast quantity of the layoffs that are happening currently are not layoffs. It's people getting their last paycheck after accepting the deal, right? But the article goes on. President Trump has seized on the government shutdown as an opportunity to reshape the federal workforce and punish detractors, right? We're going to have to talk about that language for a minute. By threatening mass firings of workers and suggesting irreversible cuts to programs important to Democrats. Okay, so on this real quick, suggesting irreversible cuts to programs important to Democrats. Let me say this about that. Every program that a Democrat would vote for, every single one without exception, should not be cut down. It should not be reduced. It should not be curtailed or, downsized, etc. It should be eliminated entirely and without prejudice, with an addendum to the permanent record of every employee thereto, that they are barred for the rest of their lives from any federal or state government service of any kind. I mean that as a statement of absolute certainty. Absolutely. So that said, it makes this argument here to reshape the federal workforce and punish detractors. So that's an interesting turn of phrase there. The idea that Donald Trump is punishing mere detractors in the government is absurd. We saw this from the very beginning of the first Trump administration. As soon as he was elected, we started seeing not just random activists, not just a handful of twosies and threesies here and there. No. We saw Kamala Harris. We saw Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We saw Schumer. We saw the majority of their elected officials making public statements about resisting the Trump administration, and even going so far as to publish a handbook, a manual on how to resist from within. We saw people embedded in the government at all levels, with the exception of the actual president at that point, at every level, even where we had good people in place, there was a counterpart within the same organizations, the same agencies, the same bureaucratic structures, where you had people who were they're basically pulling a Lois Lerner. They were saying, how can I delay, obstruct, curtail, how can I stop the president from enacting his political agenda? The closest you've got on the right, conservative government employees appear to do their job in accordance with the law, the administrative policy, and the mission of the department, no matter who the president is. There has been no evidence, no public statement by conservatives, for example, during the Biden administration or the Obama administration, where you had conservative government employees come out and say, we're doing everything we can to delay and obstruct President Obama or President Biden or President Clinton from the execution of their administrative duties. That did not exist. We have not seen it historically. If you can find any evidence of examples to the contrary, what you will have found is largely a minor and ineffectual anecdote. There has never been a conservative manual on how to resist the communist in office, because this is a thing that communists do. Commies actively conduct insurrection. And that's what they're about. That's what they're doing. So the article goes on to say, rather than simply furlough employees, as is usually done during any lapse of funds, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said layoffs were imminent. The Office of Management and Budget announced it was putting on hold roughly $18 billion of infrastructure funds for New York subway and Hudson Tunnel projects in the hometown of the Democratic leaders of the U.S. House and Senate. Okay, it's framing these as subway and Hudson Tunnel projects, New York subway and Hudson Tunnel projects. Remember, these are green energy projects, right? This isn't funding that's going to shore up and maintain existing infrastructure or anything like that. This is money to create unsustainably expensive, technologically early adopter equipment that is likely to be replaced almost immediately because the grid is not ready for it. Okay, this is Green New Deal, slaughter all the cows and make you eat the bug paste nonsense that is being defunded in the wake of a situation where, like we described the other Monday, the interest on our national debt has outstripped our military spending. So absolutely, we need to be stripping funding away from useless leftist psychopath, green new terrorist technology stuff. Trump has marveled over the handiwork of his budget director. He could trim the budget to a level that you couldn't do in any other way, the president said at the start of the week of OMB director Russ Vought, who was also a chief architect of the Project 2025 conservative playbook. They keep hitting this Project 2025 thing, and guys, I urge, maybe that's worth a deep dive. I urge you to go and read Project 2025, and I promise you, almost to a man, as conservatives, if you read Project 2025 and then look at what Donald Trump is doing, you'll say, wow, I sure wish he'd sprout a sack and go after some of this Project 2025 stuff. And quite frankly, I wish Project 2025 would sprout a sack and go further on some of these particular items. Like, the most legitimate and reasonable criticism of Project 2025 is that it's just a little too squishy. It offers far too many concessions to the communists that seek to destroy your country and sterilize your children. So Thursday, today, is day 2 of the shutdown, and already the dial is turned up. The aggressive approach coming from the Trump administration is what certain lawmakers and budget observers feared if Congress, which has the responsibility to pass legislation to fund government, failed to do its work and relinquish control to the White House. Now, in fairness, we are talking about the 2025 budget. Or, I'm sorry, not the budget. We're talking about the continuing resolution that they wanted to pass that they were supposed to pass day before yesterday. And let's be very clear. That there is a continuing resolution that needs to be passed means that the House and Senate and the president failed to do their job in 2024 and pass a budget on time. Which is to say that Joe Biden oversaw the failure of the last budget passage. And as we covered on Monday, or was it Tuesday? Anyway, as we covered the other day when we were talking about the shutdown as it was imminent, we have not had a budget passed since 1997. Almost 30 years. I'm sorry, 96 was supposed to be, was the last time a budget was passed. It was for 97. But we haven't had a budget. We have not passed a budget in almost 30 years. That is unacceptable. In fact, by the time this budget is supposed to be in force, it will have been 30 years. Vaught, in a private conference call with White House GOP lawmakers Wednesday afternoon, told them of layoffs starting in the next day or two. It's an extension of the Department of Government Efficiency work under Elon Musk, but slashed through the federal government at the start of the year. The Doge, I'm a big fan of what Doge set out to do. I'm a little disappointed in what they actually accomplished. But I will forever give praise and thanks to the work that those gentlemen did with Doge. If the only thing they had accomplished was shutting down USAID, it would have been a wholly worthwhile endeavor. So I'll give it to them. But that's where we're at right now, guys. Essentially, at least 150,000 federal workers are no longer going to be drawing a paycheck from us. We have just pulled 150,000 parasites off our tits, and we can bid them all a fond farewell and a lovely afternoon, and I hope it works out for them. With that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this episode up this morning. I already hear the kids out here moving around, and I'm running out of coffee. So let me, before I put a pin in this one, since Mario didn't make an appearance, let's wrap it up with an offer. So I know you guys are, most of you guys are watching on Rumble this morning, and that is the most appropriate thing. So you've probably noticed Rumble's growing fast, and it's not slowing down. This channel is growing on Rumble faster than it grew on other social media platforms, and that's largely because Rumble, they're building a real alternative to big tech that puts creators first and actually protects free speech. Now there's Rumble Premium. Excuse me. Now there's Rumble Premium, an easy way to upgrade your experience, right? With Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform, no pre-rolls, no interruptions, just the content you come for. And Premium members unlock exclusive content like bonus videos, behind-the-scene drops, and more from your favorite creators, including our deep dives, which we're doing a deep dive on rights and responsibilities this upcoming Saturday. That's going to be heavy on the philosophical and a little lighter on the political. It's going to be intense, and I think it's going to be a good show. Right now, Rumble is offering $10 off an annual subscription. Just go to rumble.com/premium. Use the code STUDIO at checkout. It's rumble.com/premium, promo code STUDIO. No ads, more freedom, and content you actually care about. That's the deal, right? And that link should be in the description down below. Click on the link or type in rumble.com/premium. Use promo code STUDIO, STUDIEO, and that'll get you in with your first free month. And as always, if you're watching live, any given day of the week, I'm not doing it today because I just gave you the promo code. I don't want to detract from that, but any given day of the week, we're liable to just give away free memberships. And when I say liable to give away free memberships, like Steven Crowder calls it reverse, what's he called? Reverse and super chatting. Over here, we call it candy for the kiddies. And I give them away to the audience on occasion, and our audience members have been known on more than a few occasions, especially old Aaron Olson. He loves to throw candy to the crowd and just give away free premium memberships. So tune in every day while we're live. You have to be signed in with at least a free account. Tune in to the show while we're live and leave a comment in the chat. And those are the three things I require of you, not just by preference or personal policy. Like those are the three things, like technologically, that have to be done so that I can even try to give you a free membership. And we give them away at random. So please join us for those. And we'll see you tomorrow morning for Firearms Friday. And then again, Saturday evening for the deep dive on rights and responsibilities. Thanks for watching this morning, guys. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.